What's going to happen with the New York Jets? Could a trade potentially happen with the Raiders, but not for Devontae Adams, a different pass catcher? We explain what could happen here on Boy Green Daily. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you find your podcast. I know yesterday we were talking about the developing relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Zach Kuntz, but a lot of you were not buying what I was selling. You're not buying the observations that I made. But perhaps you will buy a different brand that I'll be selling you here. And there's a full article in the YouTube description down below if you'd like to read this trade idea that kind of popped up out of nowhere yesterday. But it could be something for the New York Jets to consider, and it was this. So I was looking around the social media landscape, and all of a sudden a trade proposal hit me in the face. And it didn't include the Jets, but maybe it could. Dallas Robinson of the Pro Football Network proposed this trade between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts, which would send away former Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer from the Raiders to the Colts. And here was the trade. The Colts would get Michael Mayer in a 2025 sixth, and the Raiders would get a 2025 second. Now, I'm not sure I'm willing to pay that price. Michael Mayer, of course, was originally the number 35 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft in the second round. But the Raiders just selected Brock Bowers, which has led a lot of people to speculate, what does that mean for Michael Mayer? Paul Gutierrez, who covers the Raiders for ESPN, said that the pick was confounding and confusing and a true mystery, and he doesn't know what that means potentially for Mayer. So maybe Mayer can be moved. So, okay, if Mayer can possibly be moved, stay with me here, people. Maybe the Jets can get in that, because if you remember on the Flight 23 documentary, the in-house Jets series, the Jets big board that was revealed in the draft war room at the time, the top three players with pick 14 that was on the board. Pittsburgh hadn't submitted their pick yet. The top three players on the board for the Jets in order were Will McDonald, number 1, Michael Mayer, number 2, and Broderick Jones, number 3. That was their big board that was quote unquote revealed during the documentary. So if the Jets were high on Michael Mayer a year ago in which they almost took him 15 freaking overall, you don't think that they would potentially jump at the opportunity to get a discount double check price on Michael Mayer potentially, because the Jets apparently have this void at the tight end position? There are several people, and I quote them in the article, that said that this is the biggest weakness on the New York Jets roster. Matt Holder of Bleach Reports at the tight end position is, again, quote, the biggest weakness on the roster. We also had one other individual, Nick Shook of the NFL Media Group, said the only glaring issue, quote unquote, with the Jets class is the lack of a tight end. So if people believe that the Jets are missing a tight end, then maybe you go out and get Michael Mayer, who, by the way, I love Michael Mayer. I think he's a wildly intriguing prospect. You go to some of the measurables, he's dirt cheap. He still has 3 years left on his rookie contract. Here are his cap hits, or base salaries rather, over the next couple of years. 1.1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million. Those are cap hits for him for the next 3 years. Dirt cheap. 6'4", 249 pounds. Lance Zierlein said he could be like an extension of the offensive line because of his prowess in blocking. So additional protection for Aaron Rodgers for that big-ass body. And he called him a safe player. Quote, he will be a good pro, could become a plus player as a run blocker and pass catcher. And think about the Jets tight end room, which we talked about yesterday, okay? Think about this. Okay. Only one player is under contract for next season. Next season, 2025. That's Jeremy Ruckert. And Jeremy Ruckert only has 1 year left of team control, and then he's a free agent. Tyler Conklin, Zach Kuntz, and Kenny Yeboah are all set to be free agents next year. So just saying, maybe this could be a move. Now, I don't know if I'm willing to pay a second round price when you look at the statistical achievements of Michael Mayer in his rookie season. It's very meh. Not a lot was happening there for Michael Mayer. He had 27 catches for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't think I'm willing to give the Raiders the same price because the only reason that potentially Mayer would even be available is because they selected Brock Bowers. So I'd probably, start in the 3rd, 4th round range, see if we can finagle potentially to get that in there. A second's a little rich, quite frankly. For the Raiders to save them from the price they originally paid. And I will also say this off the top. If tight end is the worst position we're talking about for this Jets roster at this point, that's a first world problem because the tight end position is just dandy. It's fine. It's okay. You can more than survive with the group you have. You're probably not going to have a top 5 tight end in football, probably, but you know what? You can be good with it. So the fact that we're nitpicking these kinds of positions on the Jets roster, I think, is incredibly compelling. It's incredibly compelling that we're just putting some cherry, some whipped cream. What else would you like on your sundae, sir? That's what we're talking about here with some of these moves. So this one to me is kind of intriguing. Really, really interesting. Ricky says, reading the title, I really thought this was talking about a safety. I think you could argue either way, to be honest with you. Maybe you can make a compelling pitch for safety. But to be honest, I feel really good about Tony Adams. I love Chuck Clark pre-injury. He looked really good. And I love Ashton Davis. So to be honest, I think I feel the same way about the tight end position that I feel about the safety position. It's solid. They could go in with the group that they have, and they'd be just dandy. Plus, when you consider the rest of the talent on the other parts of the defense, you could survive with that group. Now, could you improve it? Of course. You could add a proven veteran like Marcus May, Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs, whoever your guy is. You could do that. That's possible. You could make a move in that department. In the same way, like I said about the tight end position. That's something else as well. We got Luis here. He says, how about using the Jets 3rd round pick they picked up during the draft? Exactly. That's to the point. The bonus 3rd round pick they picked up from the Lions, you could flip that potentially, which you got for free. So that's a why. That's not too shabby. So that could be an option. So that would be very interesting to me. So sure, use the 3rd round pick. Again, the 2nd rounder is probably a bit rich, but I'd be willing to do it. We have Card Cave Central. He would be 2nd or even 3rd tight end for us. Based on what? People, we need to put down the pipe on Jeremy Ruckert. I'm just being honest. What in God's green earth has he proven in his 2 seasons in the league? Spoiler alert, nothing. Maybe he pops, maybe, but he's shown nothing to confirm that he's 2nd. And what do you mean 2nd or 3rd? You wouldn't put Michael Mayer above Kenny Yeboah? Zach Kuntz? Come on, people. Come on. What are we talking about here? Tyler Conklin? Sure. Veteran guy, high floor guy? Sure. He's tight end 1. But Michael Mayer could easily be tight end 2. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you brought in a guy like Mayer and he eventually overtakes Conklin. Like, come on, people. We're being a little too high on our own people. We need to be willing to take a step back and kind of evaluate what's happening here. Jeremy Ruckert's shown nada. Maybe eventually does, but come on, people. Come on now. Come on now. Well, let's get with the program. Matthias, I'm not giving up picks for a tight end. I don't understand what's the problem with the tight end. Like, why are we nitpicking that position to say, oh, well, that I draw the line, not giving up picks for a tight end? Why? There's like half the fan base was willing to give up the 10th overall pick for Brock Bowers. What's the difference? And we're not giving up the 10th overall pick this time. I don't know. And R&R, exactly what I just said. Things are good when we're in about 4th safety, 4th running back, 5th receiver, 2nd tight end, whatever we're talking about. Yeah, that's a good first world problems to be. Let's see. Easy. Are the worst about them wearing a division champs this year? I agree. What Edward says. Yeah, if this is what we're talking about, then we're in there. Diggs would be nice. Yeah, he'd be nice. Yeah, he's solid. Easy says, just wait till waivers at the end of training camp. You could, but Mayer's not going to be there. So you could pick through some scraps, I guess. But boy, The temptation, the allure of Michael Mayer is that the team loves him. I loved him. He comes dirt cheap in terms of the next couple of years. He's big. He can immediately help in run blocking. So, again, extension of the offensive line at a bare minimum, plus the receiving prowess, which, by the way, he got a touchdown that won the game against the New York Jets this past season, if we want to remember that. So, yeah. Dakota, this is the most mid tight end room in the league. That's a great way to put it. No offense, with all due respect. Dakota's right. Yet we're like having extra defense of this room. Ricky, New York. What did Mayer show that the Raiders are ready to dump him after one season? Are they ready to dump him? I have no idea. I'm just basing it off of a couple of factors. First off, ESPN's Paul Gutierrez says he does not know what this means for Michael Mayer, the fact that they drafted Brock Bowers. So if an ESPN guy who covers the team for a regular basis says, oh boy, this is confusing, and I don't know what this means for Michael Mayer, that to me, the unsureness opens up a door of opportunity. Will they be willing to do it? I have no idea. But I saw this trade proposal plus those, and I kind of connected all the dots and say, hey, baby, that'd be something I think the Jets should be interested in. But I'll just say this, sure, can Brock Bowers play some big slot for you on the Raiders offense? I don't know. I don't have the Raiders roster fully, flexed out of what they're going to do. But at some point, he's going to play normal tight end snaps, which is, of course, naturally going to take away from Michael Mayer. So, and I wouldn't say dump him. We're talking about like a third-round pick here. That's not like a random dump. We're getting a pretty good value on a guy who went in the second round, and then they get some sort of, some saving there. Sean O'Connell says, I really think Conklin will excel with Aaron Rodgers. I think he will too, but again, he's in the last year of his deal. So if he does and has his career season, I wonder if the Jets are going to be willing to pay the iron price to keep him. Because let's say he balls out. Certainly possible. Hell, everyone on this offense might have a career year with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and that's going to lead to some people wanting to get paid. And that may be Conklin, who has, I'm going to make this up. He has 70 catches for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. I don't know. Those would all be career highs for the young man. And all of a sudden, I'm sure he'd go into free agency saying, hey, it's time to get paid, baby. And the Jets might go, and if they go, and they don't really have any other answers at tight end long term, I'm like, all of a sudden, that's what I'm talking about here. Which is interesting. And that's kind of my thought, Phil. You say on YouTube, if an opportunity to get better presents itself, do it. We're all in now. Because I'm seeing a lot of comments out there that say, we're fine. We don't need to. Let's not get complacent here. If there's a chance to get better, I'm not saying train them for any random ass tight end that's in the league. This specific situation with a young tight end, great size, great measurables, great everything that you could kind of see on the surface, and the Jets liked him a year ago, so much so they almost took him 15th overall, and you get him at an insane discount a year later. I don't know. To me, that's compelling. I'd make the call to at least investigate. I don't know. Yeah, Infrared Jets. Good morning to all the brothers and sisters here. I guess we'll have to wait for the schedule until next week. I know. How lame. We get it a week from tomorrow is when the schedule comes out. Or a week from today, rather, 15th. Ah, jeez. Come on, NFL. Ah, you bastards. Well, I guess more speculation. More speculation. John Sauer, Mayor for one of our thirds is a no-brainer. Thank you, John. Way to join the bandwagon, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Let's make it happen. Jackson Valente on Twitter. If we're signing for depth, the center position needs back up before the season. Wes Schweitzer and Xavier Newman don't help us. Schweitzer's fine at guard. I will say that. Now, at straight up at center, I'd like somebody else. So, again, whether that's Connor McGovern or there's somebody else, whoever it is, I don't care. But somebody, man. Connor McGovern or someone else. Ricky, New York. Boy Green, if you want a trade idea, J.D. Lance, Traylon Burks for a 5th or 6th at the deadline, then I'd consider to help usher out Lazard. I'm going to be honest. I would not like that. A couple reasons why. I don't want a first-round bust mid-season to learn a playbook, mid-season to get chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. To me, that feels like a wasted pick, to be honest. If you were going to get a Traylon Burks, which I'm not really all that for, but if you were going to get him, it would be earlier this offseason where it's time to work with the team and have a real chance of making the roster. I just, I would push back against that just because that's trading for that, he wouldn't have that kind of impact on the team enough where it would matter midseason. That's like you want to trade for Devontae Adams at the deadline. Okay, I'm willing to overlook whatever he'd have to learn parts of the offense, this, that, or the other, even though there'd be some he knows from Hackett and Rodgers. But I don't think I'm willing to do that for Treylon Burks. Matthias, why are we so down on our tight ends? Well, outside of Tyler Conklin, who, by the way, also had 0 touchdowns last year, so you can blame the quarterback position, you can blame whatever. Her tight ends just aren't great. Look at the 4. Look at the 4 tight ends we have. Kenny Yeboah, career special teamer. Zach Kuntz, random 7th-round pick last year that has size and measurables, and we hope, because Aaron Rodgers made a comment about chemistry, that he's got something. But that's all we got there. You have Jeremy Ruckert, who has done absolutely nothing through 2 seasons. And then you have Tyler Conklin, who's a fine tight end. He's middle of the league. So why am I so down on tight ends? That is exactly why. I'm just being straight up. Can some of that be contributions from the quarterback position? Sure. But boy, if you just say, I'm sure it was just Zach Wilson, and then you go into the season and go, oh, wow, it wasn't. Tight end room was mid. Then all of a sudden we're having a different conversation. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying we shouldn't be complacent at any position. We should be looking to improve. Card Cave. Blocking wise, do you think Olu Fashion will be reporting eligible in bigger packages to get more blockers in there? As long as it doesn't put them in compromising injury situations, where there could be dog piles and things of that nature. I don't want to lose our first rounder on something stupid. So maybe that's possible, but I would much rather have someone else in there, to be honest. I don't think I would want to risk that with Olu. I'd put in, let's make up Wes Schweitzer. Like, let's throw him in there as a jumbo guy, or a tight end you feel really good about in the blocking department. I just don't know if that's how I'd want to use Olu. I want to keep him at left tackle, which maybe will be another episode this week, and just let him get reps there, because inevitably that should happen. Let's keep going here. We have a lot of vitriol over this topic of choice. A lot of people on both sides, I see. Hey, Paul, talk about the dominant Celtics last night. This trade is a no-go and would cause major friction in our locker room. We already gave away JFM for free. Don't want to do the same for Conklin. Whoa. Let me back up that train. The Celtics were dominant last night. They kicked some ass, so next we'll see in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, let's park that one aside. It wouldn't cause any friction. I'm not talking about getting rid of Tyler Conklin. I like Tyler Conklin. Keep Tyler Conklin. Let's add another guy to the room. That's what I'm saying. You add a guy who can help now. Again, he's an immediate upgraded blocker for the entire room. And number 2, you have now a long-term option to learn with the group that's in there. So I don't think it has anything to do with locker room friction. That's not at all what I'm saying. Maybe that means Kenny Yeboah is on the practice squad now, but all right. Sucks to suck, pal. I don't know. But no, I'm not talking about getting rid of Conklin. Whoa, let's rein that puppy in. I'm not there at all. Matthias, we could deal with tight end next offseason when we know just how good Conklin will be with Rodgers. That's a bad way to operate, because there's a lot of other decisions that are happening next year for the Jets. I mentioned them before. 9 free agents. 9 Jet starters are set to be free agents next year, plus you have the entire 2022 class to pay. And one of those starters that will be a free agent is Tyler Conklin. So to say, well, now we'll figure out tight end. Teams have to be proactive in that department of figuring things out. That's why I'm saying you get Mayer now. He helps now. And if everyone leaves in free agency not named Jeremy Ruckert, all of a sudden you got 2 guys. You're like, okay, not bad. We've got a floor here. If you don't, then that's where you get F next year, because you put too much on your plate in the future. Again, I'm not saying we got to flip the whole universe here, but it's a reasonable price. Let's see. Dennis says, come back here for Lazard. A lot to prove. I hope he takes a lot of pride in that, Dennis, to be honest, on YouTube here. I hope he goes, wow, last year was embarrassing. I made excuses, did all these things, like, let's go. And I hope that's how he attacks the offseason. I really do. I haven't heard him do any interviews or anything, but I do hope so. Ricky New York. I just threw out an expendable name. I think Boyd spells the end of Brooks, who, yes, Tyler Boyd signed in with Tennessee. I'll think of a better name. Please do. before the end of the show. That's your homework, young man. We'll go back to that at a different point. But yeah, we'll see. A lot of veterans are coming off the board. DJ Chark to the Chargers. You have Tyler Boyd to the Titans. A lot of receivers are flying off the board. OBJ to the Dolphins, obviously. So looks like we might be running up with the room that we have there at wide receiver. Yep, shout out to the Rangers. Very nice. Congratulations. Let's see. Alan Yaboa's hot cabbage, CFL player. He's a fine player. He's fine on special teams. He's just a solid guy that every once in a while shows a little pop in the preseason. But I just think, again, I think sometimes us as fans, I know this is going to be crazy. I think sometimes we overrate our players. We see him and they're like, oh, that's our guy. David Clowney, that's our guy, baby. And he gets cut and does nothing anywhere else. You're like, oh, I guess he wasn't that good. Like, that's all I'm saying. I just think we should really investigate. Green Irish Bastards. I should get that on a t-shirt. Jackson Valente. If Moses needs a sub, who goes in at right tackle? Olu or Warren and Mitchell? From what I heard, again, we might do another video on this later in the week. It sounds like Olu is staying at left tackle, which means it would be Carter Warren or Max Mitchell. That's correct. Yeah, if he needs a blow, I think it's going to be Carter Warren or Max. But like I said, we'll get more on that. I think we have another episode on that later this week, especially with the schedule now pushed to next week. So I'll keep you posted on that. Let me put that in the old notes. The old Fashanu. Yes. Fashanu left tackle. That's a good video. We had a new insider nugget on that, actually. Let's go to Dur_T-Man. What in case if Mosley or Quincy goes down? Are we good with that we have, or should we work on a legitimate backup? Yeah, the room is a little... Let me pull up the New York Jets roster. Let me see who we have listed. I know a couple of guys off the top of my head. Chaz Surratt, maybe that name. Zaire Barnes, before I even get to the roster sheet here. Now let me see who the Jets have listed here at the linebacker. All right, so I mentioned Zaire Barnes. Jimmy Choo-Choo Carlo. He's from Army. He's a guy the Jets love. Keep an eye out for him, an undrafted free agent, 6 foot flat, 229 pounds. He's an Army product. The Jets love Jimmy Choo-Choo Carlo. Joe Douglas likes to call him Chooch. So keep an eye out for that young man. Jamie and Sherwood, that's another name we forgot to mention, but Chaz Surratt, Jamie and Sherwood, those are two names. And then, like I said, Jimmy Choo-Choo Charlo. That's the other one from Army, which could be a name to keep an eye out for. I know those don't probably inspire a ton of confidence, but those are some of the guys, an undersized linebacker that the Jets can kind of work with some of the traits. That's kind of their style. Dakota J. Believeland, Cavs in 6. You don't even believe that. Cavs don't even believe that. Shut up, Dakota. Come on, man. Cavs in 6, my ass. Anywho. Peter Campisi. If Mayer's a headache to the Raiders, do we need that? I haven't heard anything about him being a headache. I think it's a lot of speculation from the outside about his future. I haven't heard anything about locker room issues or anything like that. Let's see. John, so I think JD is content with our wide receiver room. It feels that way right now because all these names are flying off the board and they're not doing anything about it. So, yeah, doesn't sound like something's happening there. Yeah, it does look like Will McDonald's bulked up a little bit. I saw that, Jared B. But his neck looked thicker than last year. He was doing the Jermaine Johnson program, so hopefully, fingers crossed, baby. Chaz would probably be first man up. Yeah, Jets love Chaz. Paul, were you able to find out if the uniform colors changed? The stuff from yesterday was old Gotham colors, not the new legacy. Yeah, the uniforms did change. It is not Gotham green anymore. It's a different color. But I haven't gotten the palette code numbers. But I did confirm that the colors are different. Yeah. Okay. All right. 1 second. Let's open up the phone lines. Let's go to here. We got 400 people in the room right now. Let's see. Then people can yell at me about this apparently terrible trade idea. So there you go. I'm a man of the people. But basically, if you guys missed it, again, there's also the article down below, so you guys can catch up at any time for the 400 people that are in the room. I know people kind of come in and out of the show, but my whole idea is that, you know, you make a deal and take on a new some action there. Let's see, video call in link. There we are. Pop that in. As now on YouTube, if you'd like to call into the show, that is the pinned message on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, you have to jump over to YouTube to hop in the show. But basically, here's the idea. Again, we take a dart throw on Michael Mayer, who there was another trade rumor that had him going somewhere else, so the Jets can jump in on that for a fair price, like a third-round pick, and bring him in. So make it happen. Dirt cheap, dart throw, player the Jets loved last year. What could have possibly changed for this year? I just feel like absolute dirt cheap. He's at 1 million, 1.5, and 2 million, 2 million, excuse me, over the next 3 years. Sign me the hell up, baby. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, let's go to the phone lines, baby. Again, they are open here on the channel. We've got the one and only Bobby joining us here on the show. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, dude, Paul. I like you. I like Myers. I like that guy.
Okay. All
He
right,
played
great.
for Notre Dame. I'm a big Notre Dame fan.
That's
so.
right, a Golden Domer, baby. Yes.
Yep. And I really wanted Joe Alton, the Giants of the Jets.
Yeah, that would have been fun. There were some late rumors that maybe could slip to us, which I was kind of intrigued by, but, you know, I guess it seemed kind of ridiculous that I guess he was going to drop that far. But we could all dream, can't we?
Yeah, I wanted Zach Martin before, too, when Dallas Cowgirls picked him up.
Oh, yeah, he's a beast, a friggin' beast. I love Zach Martin. He was a beast back then. Hey, they almost took Johnny Football in that draft. So Cowboys finally making a good move. Finally making a good move.
You see who Dan had on his channel yesterday?
Who?
He interviewed Marvin Washington yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay,
That's
nice.
Afterburnies, yeah. He got big hands, that boy.
Yeah. He's done a pretty good job with some of his guests, so shout out to him, man.
Yeah, I know. He had Craig Carter on. He told you. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you think Allen's going to call in?
It's definitely possible. You know, especially because
give you a hard time.
He does, but it's probably more the Pacers thing. I think he wants to, you know, try to rub that in Knicks fans' faces. So I'm sure you sent out like the Allen signal. It's kind of like the bat signal, and he sees it and he jumps into a phone booth, changes real quick, hops on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
He's a cartoon character. Don't worry about him. Can't hurt you too much. He looks like a cartoon, doesn't he?
Yeah, I could see that. Sure.
Well, I want a cartoon from me on Jake's channel too.
I think he can make that happen. I mean, with all your contributions, I think that's something he can swing.
Yeah. What's his name? You know, Gator. Gator's awesome too.
Oh yeah. He's done some good work. I saw that Knoble video he did. That was a funny video package on Gator's channel. Shout out to Gator. Yeah.
How's your dad doing? Is he doing good? You talked to him?
Say that one more time.
How's your dad?
Oh, he's good. He's good. He comes up later this weekend, which will be nice on the show. So I believe he's coming on Saturday.
And he was on Sunday too, right?
He was, yeah. He called into the show. I guess that's the
before he ate breakfast, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Your mother was calling for breakfast.
She was, and he was. Yeah, that's true.
How's your daughter sleeping?
Yep, she's sleeping right now. Normally, she'll wake up in the middle of the show and like run out here. So that happens.
She looks like what's her name's daughter too. She looks like you know.
Yeah, you said it was like someone else's daughter.
Bonesy's daughter, curly hair.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have to do a play date or something. I have not. I've not seen Bonesy's daughter.
Yeah, and then don't forget about 4:00 on Friday. Bones against Neil.
Oh, is that it? Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, 4:00.
Okay, great. I will mark my calendar appropriately. Thank you, Bobby.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, beautiful. Bobby joining us here on the show. All righty, Bobby. Oh yeah, Bobby hopping on the show. One of the OGs, no question about it. All right, let's go to Ricky, New York, joining us here on the show. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, Paul? You know what? I have very mixed feelings about this topic. I do understand what you're saying about, you know, we are going to have to let a lot of people go. people are going to freak out when
Mhm.
I say this, but I think DJ Reed is as good as gone after this year because somebody's going to pay him.
Yeah.
It probably won't be we're going to have to pay Sauce, and I think we're going to pay Carter out of the two of those. It'll be a little bit cheaper, and a slot corner is a little bit harder to find. Hey, we still got our first rounder next year, so the best available corner. There goes Reed's replacement. But dude, I want to be very clear about this.
Okay.
Tyler Conklin is now and always will be one of my people. And what I mean by that is I was a tattoo artist for 30 years. And he's a big,
Mhm.
long-haired, biker-looking tattoo guy. And those are my
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Kind of like the content creator world here and the tattoo world, all of us artists all know each other. I know people all over the country, and it was more of a lifestyle for me than just a job. Those were my people, and
Mhm.
Conklin is one of my people. And dude, I think he's just criminally underrated. You remember him rumbling down the field last year with 6 Denver Broncos on his back. That dude plays like a jet.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I hope they sign him, man. That's my thing. Is I hope they sign. He's been one of the really cool players I've gotten to get to know. I've had him on my show. Probably it'd be him and Morstead are tied for like the most appearances at 3, 4, 5 apiece. However many times they've come on the show. So I love Conklin. I want them to sign him. We're
Yeah, I
here
do
in May
too.
and they haven't signed him yet. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies that maybe they're just going to play this out. That's my fear.
That's kind of what I worry about too. And of all those guys, like he's the one person that I wish would get like maybe just a 1-year extension or something,
Sure.
fit him right into that nice little Rodgers window. And I think he's going to have a massive year. I mean, Aaron plays
I
every
think so
game.
too.
I see like 873 and 12 tutties. So
Ooh,
I'm talking
okay.
if Robert Tunyon can get 10, Conk can get 12. That's
That's a good
all I
point.
got to say about that crap.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But dude, I love Conklin, and great get by you, by the way. I'd love to have him on a show and talk to him. That would be awesome. But that being said, I mean, aside from that, I would love to see Conklin get maybe extended for a year. Aside from that, what I would do, and since running back is the cheapest of the positions out of the core 4 guys we're talking about, pay Breece first, front load it, and get as much of it out of the way as possible, and then free up the money for the other 3 guys later. I know that everybody thinks that those core 4, one of them is going to be gone. I don't think so. JD is pretty crafty, and it'll be a balancing act, but I think we can get them. I think we can get them all there. Now, AVT is another question. I love AVT, but you know what? He, comes out and gets hurt again this year or something. I could see him being the one to go. And interior offensive line is probably easier to replace than a star pass rusher, a star receiver, a star corner. So,
Sure.
But that's my strategy. Pay Breece first, get as much of it out of the way up front as you can, because I know people say, "Oh, well, you can get you can get a running back. You can't get that friggin' running back when you got a McCaffrey or you got a Breece Hall and you got a special one. You don't screw with that, dude." And I'm telling you, Breece is going to have a monster ass year this year. You watch; he is going to run all over people. No more of that loaded box crap, dude. If he could get 1,500 all-purpose, watch, he'll have 18 on the ground alone. He's going to tear people up this year.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. And I think this is the other thing. So there's the Aaron Rodgers factor you just said, right? So he's in there. So boxes should be lighter. He's another year removed from that ACL, so even more explosiveness, no holding back, no holds barred. All of that is gets me fired up.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you remember that trap play from the Green Bay game, and then the following week at Denver, one handoff and takes it to the house. I mean, I think we're going to see, more long touchdowns this year out of that guy than we've seen in a long time. And I am looking very forward to it. I love running
Home
the
run
ball.
plays, baby. Yeah, sign me up. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's all I got for you today, Paul. I couldn't think of another name right off the top of my head for
Okay,
a
well, get back to
receiver.
me.
I'll think of something. I
Okay.
would have thrown out like maybe like a Rondale Moore or something. For but I
But
think
he
you
just
just
got
find
moved,
some.
didn't he?
Yeah,
Where'd he
that's
get
the
traded
thing.
to?
Where
Yeah.
I can't remember
Let
where
me
he
see.
went,
Let me pull
but
that up. I know he got traded for like a half-eaten bag of Doritos or something. Where did he
yeah.
go? He is Falcons. Falcons is the team. That was the Desmond Ritter trade. Oh, I
Oh, that's
remember now.
right.
Desmond
That
Ritter,
yep.
Rondale Moore, straight up. Yes.
But I'll think of something eventually.
Okay, good. Excellent. Thank you, Ricky, as always, for joining us here on the show. So good. That's your homework, pal, is give us some of that action. I will say this, speaking of the running back thing real quick, I think the Giants made a massive mistake letting Saquon go for a lot of reasons. I would have you go back to the year before, and I was saying this on the radio, so this isn't hindsight 2020. I would have given Saquon Barkley the extension he wanted, and I would have franchise tagged Daniel Jones, and I'd make him prove that he's the guy that everyone says he is. And when he didn't, which he didn't last year, is a bag of injuries, then you move on and you have Saquon, and then shoot, with that 6 overall pick or whatever, you go get your quarterback, and we're having a different conversation right now. Now, this is a Jet show, not a Giant show, but just on that fact alone, I don't want Breece Hall to leave because he's not, to Ricky's point, he's not just anyone else's random ass running back. He has the opportunity to be RB1, to hold the crown as the top dog in the entire National Football League. And he just, of course, has to prove it on the field. But that's what I hope. Because he, for those who don't know, any draft selection that is outside of the first round only gets a 4-year standard contract. In other words, after this upcoming season, Breece Hall has 1 year left on his deal, and he's eligible to discuss a contract extension. Slap a nice, juicy 3-year deal on, a Jonathan Taylor style deal on Breece Hall, lock him in, let's run, and then we'll evaluate every couple of years on how to extend him. That should be the plan. So, Ricky, New York, I like what you're representing. That's exactly what I'm talking about, baby. Yes, yes, yes for Breece Hall. Sign me the hell up, baby. Breece the Beast. He's going to have a spectacular season, an absolutely spectacular season. So get him while it's hot for you fantasy football lovers out there. That's for sure. I made the mistake. Last year I did not take him. I took Garrett, led me to a championship, so I guess it wasn't a mistake. But Breece is high on the list this year, no doubt about it. Let's see. Just going back through any other comments I might have missed here. Quantez Stigger's here to stay. I agree. DJ Reed being gone is sad. I saw he's having another child, so shout out to DJ Reed. That's really cool. That's awesome. Let's see. What's going on? Yeah, that would be a nice tight end room. I agree. Let's see what happens. Hey, again, I would love Jeremy Ruckert's one of those stories you want to be real because the story is so cool. His dad and him and the Jets thing and the fandom, all that. You want it to be real. I want him to be good. I don't want it just to be a fleeting story of, oh, wow, that was pretty cool. And then it never works out. That's not what I want. I want him to work out, but I have to see what happens. And maybe he'll get those ops this year. Maybe he will. So we'll see how he operates in that light. Conklin was top 10 in yards last year. Yeah, again, he tied his career high in receptions, so he accomplished a lot. I still am flabbergasted that dude did not have a single touchdown last year. How in God's green earth did that happen? How did that not happen? I am confused. That was puzzling, to say the least. But Conklin's a good guy. We'll have to get him back on the show. I'll be working on that. I'll get Conklin back on the show in the near future. The only player I'm seeing a lot of extension conversations, the one that you could save a lot of money is if you extend DJ Reed now, because he has a $15 million cap hit. You could shrink that to a good low number if you extended him. And T.O., I'm going to be honest. T.O., YouTube, Boy Green, Firehead as always. I decided to pull out another one that I haven't worn in a long time for you, pal. So now I'm going to start reaching all over that hat wall back here in this hallway over there. And I'll keep digging. It's not really digging. I mean, they're on hooks, but I will keep trying to improve the hat game each day. So I threw this one out there. The old school plane. Good. Some good stuff there. All right, let me answer any last final questions here. Then we'll tweet out some more stuff. Let's see. Conklin, here we go. Back to Tio. Conklin was a great chat with the Vikings with Cousins. I'm sure he can replicate or do better with a healthy Roger. I am absolutely sure. There is no doubt about it. I'm sure he will be even better with that. No question. All right, we'll get back to the comments in a second. Let's go to our resident offensive coordinator. He's just popping in. Let's go to EZ. Edward jumping on.
Morning,
What's up,
Paul.
brother?
How are you?
Excellent, man.
Yeah, I was listening to the show this morning, just hanging back, listening because I was driving.
Sure.
And a couple of points I want to make.
Okay.
The people in the media who are trying to make a big shit over number 74 going to Olu, they need to just shut the fuck up.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I heard a lot. I can't remember who was
It's
the
bullshit.
big person who said it. It was someone who was saying, it was
Don't
Jeremy
even
Ruckert's
mention-
dad. That was it. It was Jeremy Ruckert's dad. He said 74 should be retired. That's Mangold's number. He was the one who tweeted that.
Look, if anyone's number should be retired, it's Randy Rasmussen's in 66.
There you go.
Because that guy was a stalwart.
Mhm.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, people don't own numbers. I mean, the only numbers that need to be retired are Klecko and Namath. That's it.
Okay.
And Maynard. That's about it.
There you go. I was about to say Maynard. That's good too.
I mean, I love Dennis Byrd, but I mean, what happened to him was tragic. When him and
Of course.
Scott Mercereau smashed heads in that Chiefs game, I was watching that game. I was mortified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at my cousin's house. We were watching the game, and we were just like freaking out.
Yeah. How could you not?
Anyway, the other thing was with the tight ends, if we can pick up that guy for a song and a dance, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And one other thing,
Mhm.
maybe a little Marcus May reunion wouldn't be the worst thing. I'm sure he'll come in relatively inexpensive, and he's a decent player. I mean, he's always been a decent safety. So, and that would be the final tweaks.
I like that, and I agree. That's all we're doing right now. We're just like, can we put some funky dice in this car? What are we doing? Oh, maybe some rims, some hydraulics. Like the car's
we're
ready to
just
go, baby. It
tweaking
could go
now.
A to B. That's it. Let's see. Let's some final
Couple
touches.
of tweaks.
That's it. Homie touches. That's it.
I'm finally parked. Look, I can wave my hands.
Where are you driving
I'm
right
at
now,
the-
Easy?
I'm driving the dump
Whoa.
truck. I'm at the rock quarry.
Wow.
See, there's the payloader. He's coming to load everybody.
Yeah.
I got to get some 57 stone for a job I'm working at. So,
Okay. Wow. All right. You always give us the views, Easy. I love it.
yeah, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, this weekend I'll be at the beach, Myrtle Beach, so I'm gonna have a good time.
Nice. Can't wait. You better enjoy that, pal. You got to enjoy that.
Yeah, I'll be able to be relaxed on Saturday and call in. So
Good. I'm looking forward to it, pal.
So I'll do a little research, so I'll have a little more information because I'm usually just talking this bullshit on the fly.
That's all right. I'm looking forward to it, pal. It should be a lot of fun.
All right, man. You take care.
All right, you too, pal. Easy joining us on the show. Yeah, I do want to answer this one too, because people were asking about May. We have mother_effing_chew, perhaps the real choo-choo of our Jets group here. Wasn't May a dick, though, an attitude problem? So from what I heard from Connor Hughes, who joined Joe Caporoso on Badlands, he said all of the hoopla around that thing that came out was solely agent-driven, basically. He doesn't want to say that about the agent, but it was agent stuff, trying to do whatever he could to get his client a contract. So he said, if, from a Jets perspective, there's no bad blood or anything, like it was an agent being an agent, it was him doing his work. Because, right, there was a lot of stuff that came out that made it look like, that could be a little icky. But that's apparently what we've heard, is that it was all kind of just agent hoopla. But I agree. A little reshuffling at safety, maybe a little reshuffling at wide receiver. That's going to happen, although that seems less likely now. Interior offensive line, we talked about that. Tight end, maybe. Possibly, perhaps, I don't know. But, again, when these are the things we're talking about, we're in a pretty darn good position. Well, to the 500 plus people that are in this room right now, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. If you missed the entire topic somehow, go to the article down below. It gives us the full take and let us know on you whether or not you'd be interested. And mother_effin_chew, sign him. Thanks, Paul. You're welcome, pal. That's it. That's why I try to consume all the information so I have all the answers for you guys. That's what I try to do, baby. So, guys, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and show your support for the show. Like I said, you can always read our articles if and when we have them for these shows. Appreciate you guys. We will be back tomorrow morning for another juicy Boy Green Daily. I got a couple of juicy topics here on the docket, so hopefully those ones make you guys all upset too, because that's a good conversation to have. It's good to be back and forth. I enjoy it. I enjoy good conversation. People all over the place. It's phenomenal. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you next time. Take care, baby.